The Bruen is without a doubt, in my view, the best primary weapon to run in Warzone. Hi, I'm Wolfrun, and before I get into the main part of this video, if you can give me a subscribe, like the video, leave a comment as to what you think. But I'm sure you're all used to hearing the Grau, the M4, even now the Kilo discussion about which is the best assault rifle to run. But frankly, I set up the Bruen, which you can get. It's not the original weapon, it's a DLC weapon. So you will have to do some unlock challenges if you're free to play. If you're on the multiplayer, the unlock challenges are relatively easy. But it is by far better than those weapons. I'm happy if everyone wants to run a Grau, if everyone wants to run an M4 and run those against me. This gun will dominate them. It has a faster time to kill than those weapons. Its recoil is really easy to use and control without, as long as you follow this setup, you'll find it. Its mobility is really good. So long as you're using the right setup for it, it can have absolutely atrocious mobility and act like a proper LMG. But this way, it's much closer to an assault rifle. It's great at range. I think better than the other weapons. Close up, it's okay. The problem with it, again, is going to be the mobility. It really is a medium to long range weapon, but that's no different to the Grau. I run an overkill with the Mk9, which works really well because it allows me to run around. But as you can see, these are multiple clips I've got from Warzone where you can see me using it. It has no problem downing people at long range. You can pick fights with snipers without a problem. People running across the map, no problem. Medium range, you can gun with the best of them. I highly recommend it. The key in this sort of setup, and we'll get through, I'll take you through all the attachments. There is a time stamp in the description. Is that it's built for Warzone. It has mobility and accuracy in mind. So the first thing I had to do is you've got to strip away the ammunition and go with the 60 round mags. That really changes this weapon completely. I run a long barrel monolithic. That's pretty much standard. You run on most weapons that you're looking for in Warzone, but you're looking for increasing the damage range significantly. And then really, it's a case of looking at the various different attachments as to what you think's best. But anyway, I suggest have a go with it, see what you think, leave a comment. How do you think it stacks up against the likes of the Grau and likes of the M4? So I think if you ran it, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I wanted to do this commentary over a little montage of clips I've got from Warzone, so you can actually really see the impact this weapon has. There's quite a few times I get caught from behind, or someone gets the first shots on me. They're using M4s, they're using Graus, they're using these types of weapons. This is after the loadout drops, and I'm able to spin around and take them down because my time to kill is so much faster than theirs. I left this clip in as well just so you can see, because I left a C4 down in the river to get this guy that was driving up and down just for fun. Anyway, if you're going to run this weapon, you're going to need to do some serious unlocking for it, because a lot of these attachments are the later attachments, because without them it is not anywhere near as good. First thing, as I said, monolithic suppressor, vital in my view in Warzone. And the alternative is you could run a compensator if you wanted, but monolithic is unlocked late. So if you're not going to run that, then you're really going to have to run a tactical suppressor or nothing. Barrels, there's no choice. You have to run the extended barrel. It gives you the recoil control that you desperately need. The slightly shorter barrel, still giving you damage range, really impacts the recoil, which means the long range engagements are much more difficult. Don't bother with the para barrel. That's great for shipment. It's absolutely no good in Warzone. So that's something you definitely need to add. Tac laser makes all the difference. Those who don't like lasers, I suppose you go no stock, but that has a recoil impact. You could go with the stipple grip tape, but the tac laser means this is really, really fast as a weapon. In terms of optics, I use a GI mini reflex. I may swap over and try and use the VLK. That's really a matter of personal preference. I'm not going to really say what people want. It's whatever you like. The iron sights are okay, but they're a bit blocky. The big difference in this weapon, 60 round mags. You've got to run them. If you don't use the 60 round mags, you're not going to get the mobility bonuses. And without the mobility bonuses, this gun is a complete slug. There's no point. It's like in any other LMG or in a PKM or anything else like that. But with the 60 round mags, it's much more like an assault rifle. Highly recommend it. So that's really the loadout I recommend. I swear, have a go at it. And what I'm going to show now is a game with I used with some friends, where you can see the loadout you get used. Effectively, this is Warzone. We dropped in, had an awful start. I got killed pretty early on, just before my loadout. Make it out of the gulag, and I'm going to go straight out, pick up the loadout, and pick up my Bruen loadout. Just so you know, in terms of the class setup I use, my aim is always start with overkill as my main one, because I run the MP5. I'll do a video on that as a separate video about my secondary that I use. I use heartbeat sensor, bog standard for Warzone, a C4. I use EOD. EOD now has to be considered the clutch perk for Warzone in my view, better than Cold Blooded. And then I use amped because you'll see I often switch between the two weapons, especially as I'm moving between different locations. I aim to use the MP5 in buildings in very close range combat situations, because it does work very well in those situations. Whereas the Bruen out in the open engagements, which I'm picking, I generally run around with the MP5 as my weapon that I'm using when I'm moving around, because the mobility difference is quite significant. This wasn't a high kill game between the three of us, and I can't say that any of us are fantastic players. We're not. The whole point of my channel, the whole point of my videos is to show that an average player can do really well both in Warzone and in Call of Duty. But what this was we all played pretty aggressive for us in this game. There was good communication between us, and as you'll see, I mean, it was really unfair at the end. I'm going to spoil it now and say we don't win, but we should have. And when you see what happens, I think, well, I hope you'll agree with us. And if you're as outraged as I am about the ending, then please leave a comment in respect of it.
Vehicle took a bit of damage. Oh, I thought that was all you.
Yeah, you scared me. Then I thought you Team White Tango.
So we rotated through TV station, got ourselves another recon contract. Nothing really happened. That's why I cut this out. And then as I'm coming up here, you'll see I get downed pretty quick. Not really sure what I got hit with. I was fully armoured. There's probably some decent headshots. Frankly, lucky I didn't get thirsted straight away. Other guys managed to engage him, take him down.
Right, and he's down. I just don't know if he's got a team.
Yeah. I'm flanking him right down at the other side. You got him?
Yeah, he's dead. It didn't say Team White. Yeah, there. He's in there. There's two in there because they're having stuff up. Right, I've killed one, but there's still one in that building, chaps. Low.
This is exactly the situation where I wouldn't use a Bruen. I was going to force my way in. I'm amazed he didn't kill me. Got the spin on him, take him out with the MP5. The MP5 in those circumstances is substantially the better weapon.
Oh, I love that.
And what my usual strategy is to get Ghost in a second loadout. So normally I aim to get the first loadout one we pay for early on. They use the first free loadout to get Ghost, but that didn't happen in this game. because I got killed so early on, we weren't able to finish the contracts that we needed, and by the time I was coming back in, the first free loadout was there, so I took it. So although everyone else on my team's running Ghost, I'm not, that has an impact, because when people see you on UAVs or heartbeats, they only see me, so they may think I'm a solo player. It's a double-edged sword. They might think it's solo and they come and play me aggressively. It turns out then there's all three and we have a good chance of downing people. Equally, it can attract attention that you may not want. So we use the decision here, gas coming in, going to play it slowly, effectively running this pinwheel rotation. I'm sure you everyone who watches YouTube videos now knows about this. And we're going to move our way through this circle's closing round stadium, and so we're going to take it slow because we're about to hit a load of open ground. Get ourselves into another fight here, and as always I'm going to get downed. It's one of my flaws. I play far too aggressive, I think, for Warzone. I'm always the one out front, always the one full sending, but as you can see, even I managed to use the self-revive, not a purchase I always suggest for people because of the tendency to thirst straight away in this game. But the Bruen comes in clutch again.
Got him.
Yeah. Chasing him down there. There you go, he's
Excellent.
dead.
Thank you so much.
Well done, chaps. That self-revive was well worth it. No. I've got a gas mask.
No, I don't have a gas mask.
I just don't have a self-revive.
More armor right here. Anyone
Okay.
need this?
Well, that's.
Disregard my last.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, with you.
Requesting recon.
UAV entering the AO.
I've left the rest of this footage in just so you can sort of see the rotation we take, the decisions we make, the engagements we don't take. And the reality in Warzone I find is there are moments when really not a huge amount happens, but it's still strategically important. It's about where you're moving, where you're positioning, and also where you're getting ready. Noting on the map where those people are on the map, but I'm not in a position that we want to go engage the people that are off to the left and the right. We're in open ground, haven't got the best cover. The thing is here, my view, was get into the circle, get into the cover you can find around the stadium, and then engage people. Might not quite have the high ground, there's a bit of a bank as you can see. Here I engage the helicopter. Again, I'm using an LMG, so this, where I don't get to take him down and don't take down that helicopter, is the mistake of this game, because that was the opportunity to win. I don't know it now, and you wouldn't know it in the game, but you'll see why, because that team have taken that helicopter and they've landed it on top of stadium.
Me.
No, I've still got one.
Oh, don't get shot.
So this is where we get into a properly long-range engagement with the full team. We're not in the best of cover, but again, as you can see, the Bruen is a really good weapon at this range. It can put down cover fire on people, makes people panic, makes people get out of the way. I actually managed to take someone out at a fair distance.
Are you being shot? Are you still being shot? Is it you shooting?
Yeah, to the right, Matisse, to the right.
There you go.
My other problem is I'm running out of ammo, because running the 16 round mags, even with 210, when you're on full, you'll tear through ammo in long range combat situations. Bit of a problem again in this game, but as you see how I deal with it.
Vendor here. Rearm and resupply.
Enemy soldier
Ian, do you want this money?
I think I've... Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought I picked it up, sorry.
So I'm rotating with full mine. We've got those other two members of the team off to our left, and as you can see, they take a pot shot at me, which I actually think was a really bad idea, because if they were sure they were going to kill me, that's when you take the shot. Now I know where they are, and I'm going to guide the team in. One of the things you can't do is hear my comms. That's the way I record, unfortunately, for these games. You can hear my team players, but we now know where these people are. They've still got to slightly push into the circle where we've got semi-decent position, certainly got some cover, and we get ourselves into a long-range fight. But the problem I've got now is I've got no ammo for the Bruen, so I can't lay down the cover fire. Both my teammates run assault rifles, which is fine. I think they've still got ammo. They're going to carry on putting down some cover fire. I'll try and use up what I've got left and decide, well, the MP5 is not going to make a kill from this distance because those guys are a fair bit away and they're engaging. I encourage my teammates to keep cover fire down, and I'm going to go for a pretty dangerous flank in an attempt to do something. But, you know, sometimes you've got to do something, these engagements. I catch these guys pretty much completely unawares, and this is where my MP5 does come in completely clutch on this game.
Well done.
Loadouts round the corner. Yeah, they're on the top of the stadium, chaps. They're coming in.
And I get the sum total of 26 bullets for my Bruen, which is still not going to help me out here.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think Matisse needs... yeah, I've got none.
There's one here.
Oh, I'll take that.
If you want that, Matisse, on the way back.
It's alright, I'm with you. I've got
Yeah, I don't want to talk about my ability to mantle in that situation.
Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone.
Nope, I need some.
So we're pushing around into the circle. We're going to expect there's still quite a lot of teams left, quite a lot of players. Still got 30 players down on a relatively small circle. The advantage, there is a loadout drop there for me. I am low on ammo. However, I do run a class which is a fully loaded class on AR. It runs an M4, but my aim here is I'm going to try and get over to it my class, so they can get fully loaded and switch back to the Bruen. So I've got a full load of weapons and get full load of ammo again.
Go for your loadout again. Let's get the same one. If you want, we'll just refill your thing.
Oh no, I remembered that wrong. It looks like I kept the M4 because I felt like I was under pressure. M4 is a great gun to run. I do run an M4 class. This is my late zone class, which I run in case I either drop in from the Gulag late. I'm getting onto this last loadout. It's a fully loaded class. It's built for speed. Again, at some point I'll go through the loadout for run for this M4 class. I have no real problem with it. I quite like it, but in my experience, and thinking about it now, looking at the gameplay, I think I should have kept the Bruen. But I certainly was focused on everyone coming in, and as you can see, there's a lot of people coming in from downtown.
There's loads of them up here where I've just marked, chaps.
And that's why you run EOD. EOD will give you protection against the rockets. It won't save you. You know, ultimately the rockets can take you down, but it does mean it's not a one-shot down with a rocket. It means you do put pressure on people if they're running it. Now, here's the mistake. You can see the guys that are left are the ones on top of the stadium. They've got zone. I haven't got a gas mask. I'll try and run in and check here, but of course that impacts my health. And the problem is just growing as a problem.
There's somebody. Got him. Oh shit, they've got to jump off the thing, remember?
Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
res than her.
And now we're stuck because if we go out too far from here, then we're gonna
I couldn't
die.
move. It's just absolutely.
from above. If we stay too close, the gas is going to get us. They drop across the strike down right on top of us. Gas comes in, and there's no option. We managed to take out the other team, of course, but we're stuck. And these people, as you see, have just got the edge of stadium for zone. And even with the zone moving, they've just about got it. Come second, 14 kill game for myself. I'm really happy with that. I wish I'd got the one win, but I didn't. But thanks for watching the video.